Hi, I'm Donna Geddes. I'm a professor at the University of Western Australia and I head up a large human lactation research group that covers many aspects of breastfeeding. What we wanted to do was understand the mechanisms by which breastfeeding modulates body composition, because that's vastly different to the formula-fed infant. And as you say, mothers are concerned about rapid weight gain in their babies, when in fact this is normal. It's normal growth for a breastfed baby, and it's different to formula-fed babies. So what we were trying to see was what was in the components in the milk that modulated this growth or body composition. And what we found was that certain components like leptin, for example, which is a satiety hormone that exists in human milk and doesn't really do anything in formula, or there's very little, is actually related to the amount of fat and lean tissue that the breastfeeding baby develops over those 12 months. And the kind of cool thing about it is that the mother's adiposity is related to that level of leptin in the milk. So she's kind of controlling the milk, and then that signals to the baby and controls the body composition so that we actually get optimal development. And that is what's critical in reducing risk of obesity later in life. We believe it's because they need energy reserves, so they need to pack on this fat so that they can feed their brain. The brain is hugely demanding of energy. It requires lots of energy to grow. And for instance, a baby in the first 3 months of life, their brain grows by 64%, which is phenomenal.
That is fat.
Exactly. So the energy comes from that. And then the components in breast milk and that in combination results in a different development of structure, which is related to better outcomes in terms of, being able to do better math if we simplify it, or faster firing of our neurons so we can make decisions much more quickly. So it's certainly more detrimental to not have that fat. So whilst the relationships between the milk components and the body composition are maintained, we get a slowing of the fat mass that the baby puts on. So they slow down the amount of fat, whereas formula-fed babies, it keeps increasing. So we have this almost like a reversal. So we have this rapid increase, and then we have a plateau and a decrease, and that may well be signalling the body composition to slow down and change as we start introducing complementary food. And the other thing is the baby's taking less volume in that 6 months, but clearly it's really important because it does have a relationship. So to think that it's not valuable after 6 months, those signals change, those levels change in the milk, and they still relate to how the baby grows. So bringing complementary foods in with the breast milk is so important. Some babies do that. They don't all get the same dose. They get variable doses because we're not all the same size. So what we found was that the concentrations, the levels in the milk didn't really relate to anything, but the dose or the milk intake of the baby really shaped that dose, and then the relationships became apparent. So basically some of those components actually seem to be related on how often the baby feeds, and then how much it takes, and then that dose relates to the fat and lean tissue. So it's kind of like this cycle of breastfeeding where the baby's behaviour and the mother's signalling really all work in concert to develop our babies.